Okay, there we go. Let's see. I'm just going to... All right. Am I in the... Yeah, we're good. Welcome back to another episode of Disagreement with Umar Lee and Father Augustine Wada. By the way, I have to say, I got an email not too long ago by this guy. He said, I hate your podcast. I think it's boring. But I subscribe anyway because I'm so glad a Muslim and a Catholic are talking.
There you go.
So
we're happy to bore you.
Yeah, even if you don't like what we're... Oh, and I also got a notice from Podbean or whatever it is that we use that says we are now in the top 5% of podcasts worldwide.
There we go.
Which puts us at number like 200 million or something.
When we get to the top 1%, we will make an episode live from Vatican City.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And being 1%ers, we will invite Elon Musk on to share his views on the war.
Well, we need the local St. Louis and Sam Altman and Jack Dorsey. Those are our big local tech bros.
Who are? Oh, Sam Altman's from St. Louis?
Yeah, his mother's a dermatologist in Clayton. Yeah, Sam
I'll have to find something wrong with my skin to get.
And
pass along that message.
And Jack Dorsey, of course, went to Bishopsburg High School.
Okay, so this is your official invitation to be on Disagreement. Jack Dorsey and Sam Altman.
There you go.
Hey, who is Sam Altman? Oh,
ChatGPT guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I use ChatGPT all the time.
Do you use Gemini and Grok as well, or
no? But I like the other day I was given a quiz to my class. Oh, and I said, name the 3 best points of chapter 1, the main points of chapter 1. And if you get better than ChatGPT does, then I'll give you an A+. I'll give you a flat 100. And it was interesting because ChatGPT, occasionally they would enter it and say, no, you're right, your summary's better than mine.
I just asked ChatGPT, who is Father Augustine Wada and why is he famous?
Yeah, what did it say?
It says, is an American Catholic priest, author, and speaker known for making theology and church history engaging, often with humor and storytelling. He's a Benedictine monk and a priest of St. Louis Abbey. Teaches at St. Louis Primary School, based in the St. Louis area. Popular Catholic author. Saints for Lives.
Popular Catholic.
Humility Rules. Pray, Think, Act. Engaging speaker. Humor, storytelling, deep historical knowledge.
What does it say about Umar Lee?
Well, it knows.
Most hated man in America.
It knows. So I asked Grok, who is Umar Lee.
Okay, here. I'll ask ChatGPT. This is the ChatGPT episode.
Yeah. ChatGPT.
Okay.
This episode's about immigration.
Who is Umar Lee?
First, we'll get.
Yeah, this is the silly part where we Google each other. That doesn't sound right. Umar Lee is an American writer, activist, and former political figure known mainly for his outspoken views on Islam, politics, and social issues. Originally from St. Louis, convert to Islam, previously involved in local politics, ran for office as a Democrat. Which office?
I actually ran as a Republican, but that's a whole other.
No.
Mayor.
You ran for mayor? I'd vote for you.
I announced my candidacy, but I didn't run.
We need to do something about the corruption at the upper levels of St. St. Louis has so much potential, and yet people are going to Knoxville.
As a city employee, I know nothing.
Blogging and social media, including criticism of certain Muslim institutions and leaders. Controversy. Here we go. Umar Lee is a polarizing figure Supporters see him as someone willing to speak bluntly in challenging institutions. Critics argue he can be provocative or divisive. Well, yeah, especially in religious and political discussions. That's great. If you want, I can go deeper into his political evolution. He shifted views over time. Have you? What do you believe now that you didn't believe earlier?
Well, I want to hear what that says. So, is that ChatGPT?
Yeah. Well, okay. This is so. People. How has Umar Lee's political evolution taken place? That's a backwards way of saying it, but okay. Oh, wait. Umar Lee's political evolution.
Okay, we're gonna find out some stuff right here.
Here we go. Oh, it's thinking.
Thinking.
It's really thinking. It has had noticeable and sometimes surprising political evolution over the years. His shifts reflect changes in his religious outlook, personal experiences, and reactions to events. Here's a clear breakdown. Early phase, mainstream Democrat. He even ran for local office in Missouri. Well, but you say as a Republican.
But I ran as a Republican, so you can't always trust.
Religious turn. Islam becomes central. After converting to Islam, his worldview became religiously grounded. That's nice. He became involved in Muslim community discussions and debates.
That's true.
Began focusing on religious authenticity. I will say that for you. Like, that's why I like talking to you, because regardless of how crazy your opinions are, they are well researched and you believe them. Like, as opposed to me, who just kind of makes things up as I go along. Critic of Muslim institutions. He saw religious leadership as compromised and ineffective. This phase made him more independent and more controversial. Anti-establishment stance, fight the power. I am firmly of the establishment. More heterodox than conventional leaders. In later years, some of his positions have overlapped at times with conservative or populist critiques, emphasized law and order, cultural concerns, or skeptical of liberal institutions. Politically unpredictable, post-partisan. I wish I'd looked this up earlier. This is great. Current reputation, independent and polarizing. Today he's seen as politically independent, deeply shaped by cultural and religious priorities. He doesn't consistently align with any party or ideology. Big picture. Oh, he goes, man, this goes on. ChatGPT has a lot to say about you. He openly criticizes groups he once aligned with. Oof. No wonder you don't have any friends. I'm your friend, Umar.
Well, there's some truth to that. It's not all the way accurate, but I am independent, and I do critique power. Both
you are polarizing sometimes.
Both within the Muslim community, I critique power, but I think part of that is a misreading, in the sense that just because I was involved in Ferguson protest movement and other things of that nature.
Yeah.
I was never...
That's when you got the most press.
Right.
So it's hearing most about that.
I never... I didn't come from a leftist political background or anything of that nature. My only interaction with them prior to that was anti-war movement for the Iraq War. You know,
so you weren't involved with Black Lives... Wait, you're talking about Black Lives Matter right now.
I mean, when you talk about Black Lives Matter as an organization, I was never involved with that, and very few people in St. Louis were.
Well, St. Louis chapter is now called Hands Up United.
Well, to begin with, the St. Louis movement was Hands Up Don't Shoot.
Right.
But the Black Lives Matter movement was essentially non-St. Louisans. People came from outside of St. Louis, and they never had a big presence in St. Louis.
The guys I've talked to who were involved with Black Lives Matter were much more conservative than I thought. Like they were not in favor. Like one of them said, "I want to defund the police. Just fire the 5 worst police in each district, and I'll be happy."
See, that's what I was talking about. So the idea of defunding the police really came from the academics and the nonprofit organizations and things of that nature. That was never anything I heard anyone talking about on the streets of Ferguson.
And honestly, the LGBT movement kind of took it over.
That came from the academics and the nonprofit sector who had these big grants from these big organizations, Ford Foundation, Open Society, etc. And they took what was a grassroots movement in Ferguson and tried to, via intersectionality, tried to shape it.
Intersectionality.
So that was an agenda that I was never part of, and a lot of people were. It wasn't just me. There was a lot of people that weren't a part of that. So, but one thing I am very strongly in favor of. I'm a very pro-immigration guy.
Okay.
This episode is about immigration.
All right, so we're gonna hit immigration. This is good because I know a little bit about that. Yeah. And I'm pro-immigration, but I'm pro-legal immigration.
So I would tell you this. My general stance on immigration is this.
Okay.
And I believe Biden messed up a lot, the Biden administration, because you do have to have order at the southern border. And
they lost a lot of support.
You can't just let everybody. I mean, there has to be order to this.
Right.
If people are convicted of crimes, especially violent crimes
But is Trump? Do you think Trump is really anti-immigration, or is he just anti-illegal?
I don't think Trump is necessarily really anything. I think Trump is. I think
is Trump.
He's Trump.
He is his policy.
His love of self, his narcissism drives everything, and now he's in a legacy building era. I don't think he's really anything. But in terms of politically, what he says that motivates people is this immigration thing. There's become an immigration hysteria. If you go to Dallas-Fort Worth area, they're talking about Indians are taking over Frisco, and
Indian Indians?
Indian from the nation of India.
Yeah.
And so there's these big demonstrations, and people are going to city council meetings and speaking up. Hey, Indians.
Where is this again?
Suburb of Dallas, Frisco. I'll remind people that Indians are by far, per capita, the highest income earners in the United States of America. Some of the wealthiest.
Actually, Nigerians are in
but
real competition.
Indians are number one, but Nigerians are doing very well too. If your kids are in school with a lot of Indians, it means you're in a good public school district.
Yeah.
So
means you're probably at the bottom of the class too.
Football team might not be that great, but
the cricket team is
cricket team's gonna be outstanding. And spelling bee, you're gonna be killing it. But
is this racist? What we're saying? I hope not.
So, and now there's the movement in Texas, in Oklahoma, Alabama, some other states, where Republican politicians are openly saying Muslims have no place in the United States of America. Islam has
no place.
Yeah, I mean these are elected officials, United States senators, congressmen. This is new. Yeah. We didn't hear this under George W. Bush. We didn't hear this after 9/11. But what the rhetoric you're hearing from this congressman in the Dallas area, I can't remember his name, and Tommy Tuberville in Alabama, this is new rhetoric. They're saying Sharia law is taking over Texas, and we have to prevent Sharia law from taking over Texas, which of course has no foundation in reality.
Right.
Sharia law is not taking over Texas. Sharia law cannot take over Texas. No religious law, canon law, Sharia law, Jewish halakha is capable legally of overriding the Texas state constitution and the United States Constitution.
But in France and in England, there are chunks where it's really ruled by.
That's really a myth.
Really?
It's really a myth. First of all, there's two issues. The issue of no-go zones, what they call. And issue number two is Sharia law. Sharia law has no state power in any of these countries. The only time Sharia law is used is like the only time canon law is used, or the only time halakha is used for
Okay,
Jews.
when you're
It's only
talking
used
about
for marriage disputes, for family disputes, in which two
well, and
parties,
to determine whether someone is orthodox,
right, in which two parties come together voluntarily, and a religious authority adjudicates the matter.
Okay,
Yeah.
but Sharia law aside, when you've got whole no-go zones in France,
But those no-go zones are not no. I'm gonna tell you what these no-go zones are.
a friend of mine was nearly beaten to death.
Well, you get beaten to death in St. Louis too. I can tell you.
Well, that's true.
So
okay, good point. Good point.
A no-go zone is essentially
just
equivalent to a white guy in West County seeing North St. Louis as a no-go zone. There's no law. There's no authority saying he can't go to North St. Louis.
It's just that he probably will get his butt kicked.
He probably won't.
Actually, you're right.
He probably
That's
won't.
right. That's right.
But I mean, he could,
Yeah.
but he probably won't. I mean, there's like an 90% chance he won't.
Frankly, the
Yeah.
locals will probably beat up more regularly than.
Well, I mean, if you look at the murder rates, there's no question about it.
Yeah.
There are very few white people getting killed in North St. Louis.
Yeah,
You know I mean,
that's right. And yet it's so common it doesn't even make the news anymore.
I mean, the number of black homicide victims is through the roof.
Yeah,
so
that's true. I know a group of nuns up there who they've had 3 murders just within their block in the last 2 years.
Yeah, well.
And that's not black people murdering white people. That's black on black violence.
Yeah. So when they talk about no-go zones, they're essentially talking about neighborhoods where they are socially uncomfortable spending time in. You know? Now, some of these neighborhoods might be high crime, but the high crime is more a result of the failure of the state.
Yeah, but this friend of mine was beat up because he was wearing a Roman collar.
Right. Well, I'm saying, yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate, but like the British.
Well, unfortunate.
Yeah,
I mean, it's terrible. This is France.
It's terrible, but I mean, France could be. I mean, the
Catholic.
The French killed priests.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's okay.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
More priests are killed by the French, than by any Muslim. Yeah, that's true.
And Protestants persecuted Catholics in England too.
Yeah, but see, here's what I saw when I went to England. All right.
Okay.
I'm taking the train from London to Oxford.
Yeah.
And it is all Arabic.
Yeah. And probably more Pakistanis.
Maybe, I don't know where they were from, but they were not, it seemed to me that they were not very interested in becoming English, that they were their own group, and...
Okay, so this gets to the topic of the episode.
Okay, yeah, I hope I'm not, I hope I'm not offending
you. A Muslim
here.
writer, Shadi Hamid, recently penned an article, essentially, I can't remember the title, saying Muslims in America shouldn't have to assimilate, something of that nature.
Okay.
And it became a big point of debate on conservative social media.
Yeah.
And I agree with him, because I will ask you this. I believe that Muslims in the U.S. today, and that Muslims in the United Kingdom today, and that Muslims in Canada today are socially and culturally
superior,
more similar to your grandparents and great-grandparents than you are.
You're right.
Because when you talk about assimilating into the dominant...
If assimilating means like quitting going to religious services and giving up all your beliefs.
So assimilating into the dominant culture today. What is the dominant culture today? Let's start with this.
Yeah, it's Britney Spears, rock and roll.
Well, I'll give it to you from cradle to grave.
Okay.
First of all, you may die in the womb. Let's start with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And okay.
Secondly, there's a very high percentage chance you're going to be born out of wedlock or to a single parent family.
Right.
And if you're a Muslim, there's a very, very low percentage chance that you're going to be born to a single parent family or out of wedlock.
That's true.
A divorce may come later, unfortunately, but that's probably not how you're going to enter the world.
But isn't that because you get killed if you're
not in America? Not in America, but in the
that's right.
In the U.S., this is not fringe. This is mainstream to be born out of wedlock. Mainstream.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Marriage in the U.S. now.
Oh, it's been.
For most, marriage comes after living together.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
This is mainstream, normative American life. This wasn't the mainstream of my.
Even among Catholics.
Right. Even among Catholics. They buy a house together. They live together. Sometimes even have kids together before they get married. That was not the culture of my grandparents.
That's right.
That was not the culture.
Yeah, you're right. Isn't that interesting?
And
you're right.
And that's not the culture of Muslim immigrants. Okay. Multi-generational living.
Then why are liberals so in favor of Islam?
Well, I get to that later.
Okay.
Multi-generational living, very common with Muslims. Used to be very common. The extended family used to be very important in the United States.
Now ship off our old
the
people.
extended family and even the nuclear family is not important in mainstream American culture.
That's right. Yeah.
So is that what you're asking people to assimilate into?
Cult of youth.
So I'll argue that Muslim immigrants and Korean immigrants,
gosh, that's
and Chinese immigrants and Nigerian immigrants and Latin American immigrants can be Muslim or not. Hindu immigrants from India can be a rejuvenating force to American culture, precisely because they have the traditional values that your grandparents and great grandparents have, that the baby boomers began the slide, that Gen X escalated the slide, and it's gotten only worse with millennials and Gen Z. Conservatives
I'd never thought of
Conservatives can't say you need to assimilate into mainstream American culture when mainstream American culture now is not conservative, it's not biblical, it's not Christian.
Or even if it's conservative, it's not particularly biblical.
Exactly. So you now it's seen as almost mandatory, what we used to call shacking up, for people to live together before they're married. So Muslims embody these older traditional values. When I go to an Eid party, a Muslim holiday party,
there's
kids running around. Kids running around all over the place.
Yeah.
There's no alcohol. The women are sitting together in fellowship, and the men are sitting together in fellowship. This is pretty similar to your grandparents and your great grandparents' culture, minus the booze. Because a lot of drink.
But actually, okay, what you're saying here is interesting because, like, you've been to a Tridentine Mass, right? Yes. They're just as isolationist,
right? And an Orthodox Jewish congregation,
is isolationist too. You're right. That's right.
And so look,
and they've got tons of kids, and they're very religious.
I view the beauty of America. The beauty of America is you can go to a Jewish community in Lakewood, New Jersey, in Muncie, New York, and Flatbush in Brooklyn, and the Amish in Pennsylvania.
They may be isolationist, but they won't kick you out.
Yeah, they're maintaining their community structure, the norms, and they're contributing to society. Now, I'll ask you this, St. Louis and the United States, because it's not just St. Louis. We have seen a rapid decline of parish life in St. Louis over the last 25, 30 years.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Catholics used to run the city of St. Louis politically.
That's right.
The Catholic parishes. And they were very strong. And
that could be if those were mosques, we would say they were isolationist because the Italians all said to say to themselves.
They used to say that about Catholics.
Yeah.
They used to say the Pope was issuing orders. They used to say it was a Catholic takeover. The state of Texas, when it was founded itself as a bulwark against the spread of Roman Catholicism, because the Catholics were going to invade from Mexico, and they could be a bulwark for white Protestant Christianity in Texas. Now there's a ton of Catholics in Texas.
Yeah.
When I grew up in Florissant, you had so many parishes. Most of those parishes are closed now. St. Thomas the Apostle, Our Lady of Fatima, St. Dismas, etc. You still have Sacred Heart now, which is a beautiful old church, but even those kids who went to the church, they went on. They're having relationships out of wedlock. They're living together out of wedlock. They're not living lives that are informed by the teachings of the church. Those that do are a small minority. They're hardcore. They're
And
serious.
you consider them isolationists.
And you consider them isolationists. If you go to the hardcore
Man,
Catholic
I hate to agree with you on this.
You go to the hardcore Catholic families, like out in Cottleville, the churches out there, they're considered isolationists to the mainstream society. They're considered rejectors to the mainstream society.
Even priests will look at a parish like that and say it's backwards.
Yeah, they'll say it's backwards because they just want the schools bringing in money, the parish bringing in money. We have our fish
Ironically,
fries.
though, a place like Cottleville has like the most thriving school and parishes.
Because you have, they don't want a demanding church. You see what I'm saying?
Cottleville's demanding.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they don't want a demanding church.
Yeah.
If you're a lazy priest and you got a lazy parish, the church is the kind of place everybody get together. We're not going to take this Catholic stuff too serious. We got a good school going on.
All are welcome.
We're better than the public school. They don't want something that's demanding.
Thing is, they're not better than the public schools, and people aren't sending their kids there.
And so
they're also not having kids.
They're not having kids. That's the other thing. Yeah. If you want your Social Security, which I want my Social Security, our birth rate is now below replenishment. Our population will not grow without immigration.
Yeah.
No, does that mean I want murderers here and gang members and rapists? No. That was a result of Biden's mismanagement, a lot of dumb politics by Democratic governors in different states. You can't do that. You can't do that. But when you talk about the UK, these so-called no-go zones, right?
Yeah.
I would ask you this. Like, there's this Christian nationalist priest, I can't remember, he's in Idaho. He's like, Muslims are synonymous with crime. Which is not true because the Muslim crime rate in the U.S. is much, much lower. Europe has a problem with Muslim crime.
Yeah.
Europe has a problem with Muslim crime. And the reason Europe has a problem with Muslim crime is because
why?
Those states have a lot of disorder and they're dysfunctional.
Well, they're even worse on the morality.
Saudi Arabia doesn't have a big crime problem.
We are.
Qatar doesn't have a big crime problem.
Yeah, so they cut your hands off if you steal.
Well, they don't play.
Yeah.
Have a big crime problem. Malaysia doesn't have a big crime problem.
I like that.
So they have a big crime problem because their laws are ineffective, their policing is ineffective, their society's in social decay. When they had this whole grooming gang scandal, which was horrible and horrific, you had the Labour Party. They didn't want to critique because they were worried about Muslim votes.
Yeah, but how much does the pornography industry thrive in those same places? And we all right.
Well, the thing about pornography is this: there's personal sin.
But you want to talk about like grooming? I mean, that's a whole industry.
That's a whole industry. But with pornography, that's personal sin, which is bad, right?
Yeah.
But when you talk about public sin and institutionalized sin, where I think that you get into a whole other stratosphere in terms of something that's corrosive to all of society, not just to the individual.
Yeah. Wow. Man, I do not want to agree with you on this. The thing is, what was interesting was when I was in LA, these gang members, they were all illegal. They had all come over illegally.
Yeah.
But they were huge Trump supporters.
Yeah. And
they wanted a wall. Yes, and I was like, "What? Well, but you can't." He's like, "Yeah, but I want to get my family over here." And all these they, and you want to talk about racist, man? Holy cow!
Well, Trump had a lot of Hispanic support.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Republicans will not have it this time around. But
why not?
Well, people are unsatisfied with the direction of the country right now, with Iran, with the price of gas, with inflation.
The other thing was, I noticed that I saw ICE around LA. They were all Hispanic.
Yeah, you see that in Texas too. They like immigration enforcement, but they don't like this anti-immigrant rhetoric. There's a fine line.
Yeah.
They want immigration enforcement. They don't want this vehement anti-immigrant language.
Yeah.
You see.
Well, it's his language that's really the problem.
Well, his language is bad.
I'm going to end this civilization.
But it's some of his founders. Some of his followers.
Yeah.
I'll even put Eric Schmidt, United States Senator in Missouri.
Is he the Navy SEAL?
No. That guy, got kicked out.
Yeah, because
that was Eric Greitens, a Jewish fellow who was
Greitens.
He got into a sex scandal with his beautician.
Yeah, it's so funny that sex scandals bring these guys down when our own morality is just going out the window.
The flesh is weak.
Yeah, but I mean, how? And we're such hypocrites. You know, he has an affair. We kick him out of politics when, like you said, like living with your girlfriend is standard.
Jimmy Carter, and I went to the Jimmy Carter Presidential Museum and Library in Atlanta.
He was a good guy, but he was ineffective.
Yeah, over the Christmas break, I was down there. I went to the Martin Luther King Museum and Jimmy Carter, and I had a great time down in Atlanta. It was an Indonesian Muslim convention, and my wife was attending, and I was kind of in and out. I was kind of just hanging out in Atlanta. They have probably one of the most successful majority Black American mosques in the country. Atlanta,
the Indonesian Muslim convention.
Yeah, they have it every year over Christmas break.
Huh.
And Atlanta also, they call it the Black Mecca. It's a huge, Black middle class and entrepreneurial class.
Huge Black upper class.
Upper class. I went to Atlanta, Masjid al-Islam. They have a whole Sapelo Square, Muslim businesses. It was a really cool thing to visit. So I really enjoyed my time in Atlanta. And it's vibrant and full of life, unlike St. Louis, unfortunately. We're having a lot of problems here.
Yeah, okay. To what? I've only got another 30 minutes here because I got to go have dinner. I get to go have lunch with my parents. But to what do you attribute all this decline in St. Louis?
I mean, there's a lot of factors, but I will say this. Every Rust Belt city and every older city has had the same problems as St. Louis.
Not Knoxville.
But it's not a Rust Belt city. But they have not all of them.
Nashville?
Not a Rust Belt city. So
are we a Rust Belt?
We're a Rust Belt city. So
are we really? Huh.
But all of them,
Detroit's coming back, right?
They've all had these problems, but they all haven't declined to the degree of St. Louis has. Yeah. And for people saying it was just a city, it's not just a city. The city has lost, 65, 70% of the population in the last 70 years. But guess what? St. Louis County is declining population now. If you follow the demographer Ness Sandoval, St. Charles County down the road is going to be losing population.
Really?
The Metro East is losing population. The St. Louis Metro, as a metropolitan statistical area, is stagnant and in many respects on decline. As the writer Bill McClellan, I love Bill, St. Louis Post-Dispatch says St. Louis went from a corporate headquarters city to a branch office city.
And that's brilliant.
So we have not had good leadership in a very long time. I'm talking about political, corporate, community leadership, and we have to take responsibility of this because
Umar, you got to run for mayor again. I'll vote for. I will personally bang on doors on your behalf.
If you want to look at a successful immigrant community that is very entrepreneurial, very hardworking, very much into the blue collar trades, great families, good food.
North Carolina.
Look at the Bosnians in South St. Louis County.
Oh, yeah.
Look what the Bosnians are doing in South County. I visited them several times over Ramadan, and they have 4 mosques down there.
They work like crazy.
They work like crazy. Man. And just imagine if we had something equivalent to the Bosnians in North County. And you want to look at a vibrant area of West County, go down Manchester Road, look at all the Muslim-owned businesses, second generation, first generation immigrant, doctors, engineers, IT people. Look what's going on on Olive with all the Asians, Chinese, and Korean businesses. The kids are doing great in school. These immigrants provide to our community tremendously, including our Hispanic immigrants, which get maligned most often because the bad actors are put out.
I don't see any. Of course, I'm out here in West County.
Well, the St. Louis Metro has one of the smallest percentage of Hispanics in the country for any major metro area. But you do have them if you go to Northwest.
Why is that? Because there's not a lot of agricultural?
No, the job market's not as high. So, but like St. Anne, Overland, Rittner School District, big Hispanic population, Cherokee Street area, South City. But they're here. And I think valuable parts of our community. So I would say Let's have a taco truck.
Boy, you walk, but see, where would a taco truck go downtown? It's like a ghost town. You drive around downtown St. Louis, there's nobody in the
New York Mets announcers came to St. Louis and they just said, hey, it's like a bomb hit. Nobody's down here.
Yeah.
And local media called it bizarre. All they were doing was comment, there's nobody on the street. They were just
drive down there now. There'd be nobody.
We need a lot of help. If you got a Fortune 500 company, come to St. Louis.
That's right. If you're Umar and I will personally put you on our podcast. Free advertising.
So let's transition to the last one.
Okay, so that concludes episode 3 of season 4 of Disagreement. Now we're gonna launch into season 5. So welcome to yet another episode. We've been away for a while, but things have been crazy around here. I've been passing kidneys. Did I tell you I passed what they call a Steinstrasse?
A Stein? Sounds very German.
It is. Is that working? That's working now. But it's called a Steinstrasse in medical circles, a stone street. Let me see. Hold up. Yeah, it's working. That I had so many kidney stones that they couldn't all get out at the same time. Oh my gosh. It was horrible. But I did discover. I discovered.
It's supposed to be one of the most worst pains that there is.
Yeah, well, I discovered a life hack, which is if you're in the emergency room and there's a big line in front of you, just make really loud puking sounds, and they get you out of there because you make everybody else sick.
There you go.
But and also don't ever write your student reports while you're high on morphine.
There you go.
Yeah, I
don't do that.
My student reports would due the next day. One of them said, this kid's an idiot.
Well,
yeah, don't do any work related. Don't send any work related emails while you're on morphine in the emergency room. That was another life lesson.
And don't go to Mecca on morphine.
Did you do that?
No.
Oh, okay.
I visited Mecca and Medina.
Oh yeah, right. You're gonna tell me about that.
So
exciting. Did you visit any of the Catholic churches there?
Yeah. I'll tell you what I did do.
Ooh, did I touch a nerve?
I flew to Washington, D.C., Dulles, which Trump was trying to get renamed Trump International Airport.
No.
Yeah, he didn't get it. But my friend who works in construction, the bids were coming out with an already named Trump International Airport.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was already on the...
Well, he wants to build a triumphal arch.
Yeah, Arc de Trump. But
Arc de Trump.
Palm Beach is Trump International Airport now. Palm Beach Airport in Florida,
is it really?
In Florida, yeah. So he wanted Dulles. It's more prestigious. It was already on the RFPs, Trump International, but it didn't go through. So
what do you need for it to happen?
I don't know. Whatever happened, and
Avery Dulles is a great man.
And I think Florida beat him to the punch.
Oh, okay.
I think necessarily it wasn't him winning Florida. I think DeSantis kind of one-upped him on that.
That was actually probably pretty smart.
And he probably wants his endorsement when he runs for president.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Dulles. Anytime you fly into Dulles, you can thank the Lee family. Dulles Airport was
the Lee family?
My family.
Oh, you're. Oh, wow. We should okay. I'm hereby initiating a campaign to rename it Lee International Airport.
Dulles Airport was land of the Lee family that was, I believe, given. It might have been sold for the creation of what is now Dulles Airport.
Seriously?
And there's a monument if you go in the main terminal that commemorates the Lee family.
No, where?
I'm 100% serious.
Wait, where? Okay, because I fly into Reagan usually, but next time I'll fly into Dulles. And then, what kind of a monument?
It's a placard. I'm going to pull it up.
You'll email it to me and I'll put it on the podcast. That's great. Are there any Lees remaining in D.C.?
Francis Lightfoot Lee, a signer of the Declaration of Independence, a patriot of the American Revolution. Washington Dulles.
Lightfoot? Was he Native American as well? Partly Native
no,
American?
Lightfoot, like he was fast. He was
Oh.
a soldier. Washington Dulles International Airport is built in part on land once owned by Francis Lightfoot Lee. Marker placed by the Cameron Parish Chapter, National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution.
So your kids could be daughters of the American Revolution.
Yeah.
There's big money in scholarships.
And I could be a son of the American Revolution.
Something tells me you might not fit in, but
so
then again,
so my daughter could get a scholarship for Daughters of the American Revolution?
Yeah, oh yeah. My mom, see, in theory, we've got somebody in our family tree who signed the Declaration of Independence. And my mom tried for years because, yeah, there's big money in that. If you can prove it.
Low battery.
Oh. There we go. We're going again.
For my Catholic friends, let me make this quick.
Yeah. How many Catholic friends do you have besides me?
Well, I'm sure they're out there. Well, you know, I grew up with a lot of Catholics, you know, and you know, I was even watching the NCAA wrestling tournament. We had this kid, Mitchell Messenbrink. His dad, John Messenbrink, wrestled in McClure North too, but he was older than me, and I barely remembered him. His son, Mitchell, is like the best college, I believe, the best college wrestler in the country right now.
Olympics bound?
For Penn State. Possibly. I mean, he's in a tough weight class, but possibly Olympic bound.
Mm.
So his father's a big wrestling coach, John Messenbrink, in Wisconsin now. Mm. And I looked up John Messenbrink, and he's like hardcore trad Catholic. Just hardcore.
Ishmael Reed was Catholic, right?
Ishmael Reed? Or Royer. My friend. Yeah, he was Catholic. Not Ishmael Reed was a black American writer.
I keep saying Ishmael Reed.
Yeah, Ishmael Royer. There's white Ishmael and black Ishmael. but John Messenbrink, and so his son Mitchell, when he won the NCAA championship a couple weeks ago, he gets up on camera to interview him, and he's talking about St. Francis in his victory speech.
Really?
You gotta look it up, Mitchell Messenbrink. You know,
all right, I'll try to put a link in the.
Great, even though I'm an Oklahoma State fan, I gotta give props to them. So, I promised my wife I was going to take her to Mecca, which is the Muslim holy city where there's a Kaaba, where Muslims pray towards 5 times a day, and Medina, which is the city of Prophet Muhammad, the city the Prophet migrated to. And
you're supposed to do that at least once.
So
right?
there's two things. That's called a Hajj, a pilgrimage. We made what's called an Umrah, which is a minor pilgrimage. Hajj is a specific time of the year. Okay. So this is like this is like off season, right? Where it's less crowded and less expensive.
Yeah.
So we flew to Qatar first, to Doha.
Yeah. Qatar is amazing.
Oh man, it was amazing. The Museum of Islamic Art, the Qatar Museum, the views, the restaurants. It's just an amazing place. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed visiting Qatar. And I had a good time in DC before I went. Because it was my second time in DC that year. You know, we'd been to the Library of Congress last year.
Did you see the monument to your ancestor?
Well, you talking about the
plaque?
The plaque? Oh, yeah.
You fly in Dulles?
Yeah, that's when I saw it. That's when
really? That's so cool.
And then, you know, we couldn't go to the White House. It was too late, but we went to the United States Capitol. You know, and we heard Bernie Sanders on the Senate floor. We got gallery passes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Bernie Sanders and Chuck Schumer.
They don't give you a hard time because you're a convert?
No, they went to high school together, by the way, Bernie and Chuck. Madison High School, Brooklyn,
really?
New York. So they looked 100, both of them.
Really?
So I'm going to tell you something. Going to Mecca is no joke. It's a very serious physically and spiritually. So you have to get what's called ihram. It's 2 white garments, like this and like this. You dress in that, men. And let me see if I can pull it up.
You put them on over whatever you normally.
And you have to have it before what's called the miqat, or the arrival point. But I put mine on at the hotel in Doha. So I rolled on a plane,
Next time we shoot a episode
Like
of this,
this.
you gotta wear that.
Like this.
You look like a philosopher.
Yeah.
That's
so,
cool.
So if you can see that. I actually left my
Let me see that picture again.
I actually
you look like Socrates.
Yeah. So you can't wear a head covering either. So it's two white garments. It's just like this and like this covering past your knees. I actually left these at the hotel, and I told the hotel staff to donate them if anyone needs them. So,
oh no, I want.
I had bought some in the U.S. from a store, the Islamic place in Philadelphia, and they mailed them to me. And so I kind of practiced how to wrap them and put them on. Yeah. And then we got to Doha and realized we didn't put them in the luggage.
Oh.
So I had to go what's called to the Souk Waqif, which is a market in Doha, and purchase them there. I mean, it's like $30. It was no big deal. And so I put the garments on. You fly in. You clear immigration in Saudi Arabia. I have my visas. Everything's intact. And I didn't have a tour guide, but only 2 times in Saudi Arabia. We had a guide pick us up from the airport because I just wanted to help with the transportation and logistics. Because essentially what we did, we drove from Jeddah with International Airport into Mecca, dropped off our luggage at the hotel, 5-star hotel at the Clock Tower Plaza. You can look up the Clock Tower Plaza. It's this big clock tower in Mecca. And I did that because I wanted my wife to be comfortable and to not get lost.
Well, so you're only going to do this so many times in your life, right?
So we checked in, and we went straight to the Umrah process, which is you enter the Haram, the mosque.
Yeah.
And you make your intentions, and you have to have ablution. So you have to have ritual purity when you enter. And you do 7 circuits. So you do 7 circuits.
You walk around.
But it doesn't look like it is far, but it doesn't look like a long time if you just seen it on television or video. It's a long thing. So you're doing 7 circuits. You're doing prayers.
Did the place feel holy?
It felt holy. There's this combination. It felt holy. It felt super crowded.
Yeah.
Because the guide kept on trying to take us closer and closer in, and I kept guiding him to say, hey, I don't really need to get that close, just, because the closer you get in, the more crowded it gets. I said, I don't need to get that close.
Because what's at the center?
The center is the compass, this cubicle structure, which
Muslims... But this is the place where
Muslims pray towards. It's the focal point for Muslims.
But isn't it where... No, that's in Israel.
Muslims believe it's the first house of worship built.
Oh, okay.
For monotheistic faith. Okay. So, but I didn't want to endanger my wife's health because she's small.
Wait, for a monotheistic faith, so the Temple of Jerusalem didn't count?
Muslims believe this predates.
Israel?
Predates.
Oh, okay.
And was built by Abraham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that in the Old Testament somewhere?
I don't believe so. No. But so we're making these circuits. You make 7 of them.
Yeah.
Keep in mind it's 100 degrees at night. Like 95, 100. It's hot.
Oh, right. This is the desert.
It's crowded. So there's a sense of it's a spiritual thing. It's you feel the spirituality in the air.
Yeah.
But you also feel the crowd.
And the energy of
it. And you feel the energy. And you feel the people because they're bumping up against you all the time, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm worried about my wife because she's small. So she's staying close to me. And we're just, and we have this guide who doesn't speak English, by the way.
Oh, really?
So we got an Indonesian-speaking guide because an English-speaking guide was 3 times the price.
Right.
So I said, you know what? I know what all this stuff is because I've studied.
Yeah.
I just need someone with transportation and logistics.
Right.
So you make your 7.
And your wife can always.
Right. Well, she was translating like 10%. But you make 7 circulations.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you, the tradition is you drink the water of Zamzam, where there's this well, where in Islamic history that
Abraham supposedly
right. There was no water. and had to run 7 times between Safa and Marwa, and the water sprung from the well. Yeah. So you drink this water. It's called Zamzam water.
Yeah.
And I've never tasted better water in my life.
Really?
It was delicious. I was very thirsty.
Yeah,
Because
that helps.
I essentially didn't drink or eat all day because I wanted to keep my ablution.
Yeah.
Because when you go to the bathroom, it breaks your ablution. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So I drunk. And then we do what's called a sa'i. You know, you do more circuits between Safa and Marwa as a tradition. And then at the end, you get your hair cut. And the barber sliced the back of my head. I was bleeding.
Oh.
So it was like it was.
How many haircuts does that guy do a day?
I mean, thousands. You know what I'm saying? So and then we stayed, you know, a few extra days in Mecca, and at that point it's more relaxed because you can just hang out and pray, and eat and shop, but it's not the intensity of completing those rituals. And you know, I'm always asking people, hey, where are you from?
Yeah.
You know, people from all over the world. And then after that, we took the train to Medina. We got low battery sign, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Take the train to Medina. Medina is the city of the Prophet. When the Muslims were being persecuted in Mecca by the Quraysh and the polytheists, Prophet Muhammad migrated what they call the Hijra to Medina. And in Medina, essentially, the Islamic State was established, and then Muslims later on marched and the conquest of Mecca, or the opening of Mecca, as they say. So Medina, Mecca is super crowded, and Medina is very peaceful and relaxed, and they have the mosque, Masjid al-Nabawi, the mosque of the Prophet, and the grave of the Prophet, and of
the grave,
and of Abu Bakr and Omar, and the significant Aisha and the significant figures in the early history of Islam, Umar, who I'm named after. So you make an appointment to visit their graves, and you walk by, and you say,
you know, I think
I hit it on an accident.
There you go.
And you walk by, so you pray. It's a very peaceful, serene atmosphere in Medina. It's exact like Mecca is rush, you know, in the sense it's even hard to get something to eat. Do you want to know what I ate in Mecca?
Hamburgers.
Hardee's.
Yeah.
Because I said, well, my first night in Mecca, I got a shawarma, but my philosophy was always, I'm walking 25,000, 30,000 steps a day. I'm eating whatever doesn't have a line.
Oh, and there's no line at Hardee's.
And I walked in the food court. There was no line at Hardee's. I walked right up to Hardee's, and I got a Hardee's burger. You know, and so, but now El Bake is like a fried chicken chain, kind of like Chick-fil-A, popular Saudi thing. I got that a couple times in Medina because all the Saudis told me I had to try it, and it was pretty good. But
was it?
Yeah, and
it's a chicken place.
Yeah, it's like a fried chicken place.
What's it called?
El Bake.
El Bake.
Baik. So Medina is very peaceful and relaxed. And we actually, to show you how Saudi Arabia has changed under MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince, a brother here in St. Louis, Saudi guy, is a student, hired me, my wife and I, a guide in Medina to take us around to all the historic sites and the Quran printing press. And the guy was a woman driving an SUV. The guy was... which women couldn't drive until a few years ago in Saudi Arabia. So, but obviously, if you know Islamic ethics and Orthodox Jews do the same, I cannot sit in the front seat with her.
Oh, right.
I got to sit in the back seat, and my wife sits in the front seat.
So how does an experience like that change you? How are you different now than you were before?
Well, I'll say one thing. When we were driving into Mecca, and you first saw the green light of the clock tower, which lets you know you're getting close to Masjid al-Haram and the Kaaba, my wife started crying.
Yeah, but...
And she started crying. Because my wife's very pious and very devout. And so just to witness that was a very a powerful thing, you know, for me to experience and to enable. It was very, you know, very intense. And just to feel the intensity of people there, and to and to visit these graves in Medina, and and you know what? I came away scratched up and bruised up just from all the stuff. My foot hurt. People kept stepping on my foot for some reason. It's because it's crowded, and it leaves you leave. It's like a battery's being recharged.
Yeah.
It's also like you've experienced something very significant.
Yeah.
And you have to take this blessing, because I can assure you there are many, many Muslims in countries like Senegal or in Mauritania or in many places throughout the world who can't go. Yeah. So I have to recognize this blessing that I'm not a wealthy American. I just filed. I just sent in my IRS tax last night, because you do it all online now.
All right.
So I'm even less wealthy than I was 2 years ago. So I always pay. I don't know who these people that always get money back. I always owe.
Yeah.
So you have to recognize and be grateful that you've been given these blessings. And I'm going back to Asia later this year. I'm going to Philippines, Indonesia, and Japan. And when you're in places like Philippines and Indonesia, and a lot of people, they have the tubs catching the rainwater on top of their house. Yeah. They don't have access to running water. Sometimes that rainwater, there might be some pollution within it, or the water from the streams is pollution. You have to always be grateful for the blessings you have. That St. Louis has great water.
It does.
We have great water. We have great tap water from the Mississippi and the Missouri rivers, where they come. We're the city of rivers. This is why the city of St. Louis was founded, the confluence of the rivers.
This is why my allergies won't let up.
So we have to be grateful. We don't have an NFL team. We don't have an NBA team. Crime is high. Our weather's not great. We get very cold and we get very hot.
And it's not a lot of very humid.
We get very humid. But guess what? We do have our blessings. We have good tap water. We have good donuts.
And pretty good people.
Donuts. We got good St. Louis style pizza.
Oh no! Wait! No! Emos. Don't.
If you don't like, I love emos, but if you don't like emos,
it tastes like snot.
Our North County pizza places, Peroni's, which they also have in St. Charles County now.
There's some great restaurants.
Ferracci's, which are now at Ellisville, which came from Ferguson. Sierra's, which just burnt down. They're going to open Nick and Alina's. We have a lot of great St. Louis style pizza places. Frozen Custard, Fritz's, Ted Drew's, our donut place, Old Town Donuts, Donut Drive-In. We have some great donut places. John's Donut. We have
Dad's Cookies.
Dad's Cookies.
Owned by an alumnus of our school.
Chad and Emma. Backlog.
Chad, shout out to the Huber family.
Shout out to the Huber family. Get you some Dad's Cookies, oatmeal cookies. It is a St. Louis institution located there in South St. Louis. So we have a lot of great things. I tell Muslims, in the national Muslim conversation, people don't talk about St. Louis. They talk about Texas, like Dallas is the big thing. And they're really talking about the suburbs of Dallas. And they have these huge mosques and so many halal restaurants and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But what they don't have is the fellowship we have in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Where every mosque you can walk in and eat on Ramadan at night and fellowship with people.
I'll back you up on that. I did it, and it was fun. It was really fun.
And there's a warmth of community.
There was.
And guess what? In the literature of the American Catholic Church, they might talk about Chicago and Detroit and those East Coast cities with these huge Catholic populations, Philadelphia, New York, and Baltimore.
But St.
Louis has a great Catholic history too. The Rome of the West, as I was told.
That's right.
The Rome of the West. So we're struggling. We have our issues.
But thanks to the thriving podcast scene,
we're
about to enter a new age.
We're trying to bring St. Louis back.
That's right.
And next year, on Good Friday, when you go to that fish fry, there's going to be a priest with a microphone up. He's going to tell you what Good Friday is all about.
And then come to Tenebrae at St. Louis Abbey. All right, are we done? Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yukula kodi hadin astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh.
Etcum spiritu tuo. All right. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Disagreement with Umar Lee and Father Augustine Weta. If you like this podcast and think there should be more disagreements, please subscribe, add a review, tell your friends about us. Salam alaikum. Et cum spiritu tuo.